Today, I'm going to be changing my fuel filter and my fuel pump. I started noticing my car was getting wiggly at a red light or a stop sign. Sometimes when I would hit the gas, my car would start getting wiggly. So I checked my fuses, they were okay, and I checked my relay, it was okay. But then, when I turned my car on, I didn't hear my fuel pump turn on, and that's when I realized it was my fuel pump and maybe my fuel filter acting up. So I'm just gonna change those really quickly. Okay, so first I'm gonna disconnect my battery, the negative terminal, so I don't start a fire and so I don't explode. Now you need to jack your car up.
Take your medication, Roman. Take a short vacation.
You're also going to need a fire extinguisher and a bucket in case there's a fire, and a bucket to catch the gasoline. I'm using this small extension to remove the first two screws, and I'm using this long extension to remove the last screw. Okay, so let's remove the first two baby screws. Yay, we did it! Look how cool it is. That's your fuel filter and your fuel pump. This is your fuel pump and this is your fuel filter. Although I'm going to do my fuel filter first, I still need to disconnect the electrical connections on my fuel pump. I'm going to mark the right side with 2 hearts and the left side with 2 stars, just so I know what connections connect to where. Also, so I don't blow up. See, these are the hearts and the stars on the other side. Okay, so my biggest fear is fire and gasoline. So to get the least amount of gasoline to leak all over the place, I grabbed some vice grips and I clamped my hoses. I clamped my hoses that are connected to my fuel filter because I'm doing the fuel filter first, okay? Don't forget. Okay, so now we have to remove all 4 of these clamps from the hoses so that we can remove this filter and put the new filter in. Okay, so these clamps are kind of weird. So this part overlaps this part. Just get a flathead screwdriver and lift it up and then voila, it's off. Oh, also be ready with your goggles and your bucket because as soon as this hose comes off, your gasoline's gonna go everywhere. Alright, I got the first hose off and I'm gonna let it drop into the bucket. Yay, I got the first 2 hoses off and now they're both dripping into the bucket. Isn't this cool? It's scary, but it's really cool. Alright, so I got the first 3 hoses off. Now I'm gonna warn you, the last hose is the most difficult. My dad had to help me because I wasn't strong enough. So this is the old filter, and this is a new one. Already spaghetti. So I got the new fuel filter in, and I got the first 3 hoses in, but my dad had to do the last hose. I tried my best as to not ask for help because sometimes I just want to learn how to do things on my own, but sometimes you have to ask for help if you really need it. And my dad is always happy to help me. He can fix anything. Alright, so this little screw in the middle can tighten or loosen the fuel filter and the fuel pump from the housing. So don't forget that. So I got my new fuel pump in the mail and I'm gonna show you what it looks like. This is one side of the fuel pump. La 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 la. And this is another side of the fuel pump. It also came with extra pieces, but I'm not really gonna need these. Okay, so first we're gonna remove these battery terminals. I'm gonna remove the negative one first, and then I'm gonna remove the positive. And then I'm gonna remove the fuel hoses and put the new one in. New pump, new pump. Okay, don't forget, the negative terminal is an 8mm socket, and the positive is a 7mm socket. And don't mix these up. Okay, so now I'm gonna remove this hose, and then I'm gonna remove this hose. Okie dokie, spaghetti. I got this hose off, and I'm letting it drip, and then I'm gonna pull the next hose off. Okie dokie, I'm gonna pull this fat hose off now. Holy moly! As soon as I removed this hose from the old pump, so much gasoline came out. It went all over the place. Even the inside of my bucket is more than half full. When I removed the hose, I had to quickly put my finger inside of the hose, quickly grab my new fuel pump, and plug it up. It was so hard because it was just so crazy. So make sure you're really careful when you remove this hose because the gasoline's crazy. It's like it has a mind of its own. Now I'm gonna put everything back together and I'll show you when I'm done. Alright, I got both hoses latched on. Now I'm going to connect both negative and positive terminals. Wahoo! I got my new fuel pump in and I have my new fuel filter in. Make sure you put your cover guard back on too. Okay, see, this is why you will have to have a bucket. This is all of the gasoline that came out, not including the gasoline that got on my mouth and my face and my body. See, this is the old fuel pump. And see, this is the old fuel filter. Fuel filter. I didn't end up using these, so I'll probably eat this with my Lucky Charms or some dog treats.